Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast, Penne for Your Thoughts. I'm your host, Ellen Pompey.
From Grey's Anatomy? I want to be Patrick Dempsey.
Okay, slay. But the reason why I chose Grey's Anatomy characters is because I know there's a lot of episodes revolving around Mayo Clinic in Grey's Anatomy, which is the hospital I went to.
Grey's Anatomy?
No.
Oh.
Yes, I went to, St. Mary's in Seattle.
I
don't know. No, there's a lot of Mayo Clinics in the world, and I went to one of them. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today and the surgery recap, because as I'm recording, it was 4 days ago. And yeah, and then we're going to talk about Marvel a little bit.
Which is a very funny combination of things.
No. Well, people get hurt. And that's the only connection I have. Okay. Are you in the quiz party?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm in it.
Here we go. Okay, start the party. And I don't know why it wasn't going. Okay. The quiz is, can you guess the Marvel character from the zoom-in image? First guess. It looks like a red shoulder blade.
Metal shoulder blade.
Maybe it's made of iron.
Oh, we're timed.
What? Wait.
It said I'm wrong.
It said I'm wrong too. What? Wait. Why is it saying I'm wrong?
Because it's not the right answer, obviously. Who else is red? Hulkbuster. I'm using my Marvel knowledge.
Ooh.
No, that's wrong. Oh, it said it. What? Huh? It is Iron Man. I said I gave up. It is Iron Man. It says I'm wrong.
What the I said that too. Whatever. Okay, second one.
Oh, I got it right.
Is a blue shoulder.
I know exactly what scene that's from. Or the picture it's from.
I don't know who this is.
You want a hint?
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
What's that blue? The sister.
Nope.
It's not Gamora. I can't think of it.
It is Gamora.
What?
Yeah. I know that shoulder anywhere. I also knew the next one.
What is Gamora? That's crazy. Oh, this is Falcon. It's a picture of a wing and part of a torso. Correct, Falcon. I know this one. It is a yellow cape with some blips of purple and a purple armband. I'm going to guess Vision.
I also guess Vision.
Slay.
Oh, I spelled that wrong.
I think this one is... It is a... Oh, time's up.
It was timed. I beat you. I got 4 out of 11.
Was the last one Doctor Strange?
Yeah, and then Thor was after, and then I didn't get to see what was after. Oh, what the heck?
Well,
I like that quiz.
I did, except for the time limit.
Why was it timed?
I don't know. Alright.
What if we do them separately? No, I don't want times up. I just want to see what the quiz was.
Hold on, let's see. This was not a very good quiz for the listeners.
It's okay.
See, this is why you should always be in charge of the quizzes. Mine suck. How's life?
How's life?
Yeah.
It's great. I just agreed to do a t-shirt roulette for New Year's. Sorry, that's what I was texting about. My bad.
A t-shirt roulette?
Yeah,
it's
so
okay.
My neighbors, Josh and Heather, they host New Year's every year, and we all go over there and hang out, and there's usually some sort of theme that we have to dress up as. So last year it was dress up as something with the first letter of your name, so I was an exit sign, and Hunter was like those candy hearts.
Yeah.
And so I painted it on t-shirts because I thought it was funny. And then so it's like something within the first letter of your name. And this year it's a t-shirt roulette, so we have to draw people, which I have to tell Hunter now to go join Facebook because I don't have Facebook. And they're gonna pick people, and then we have to buy the most ridiculous t-shirt, which is perfect because my whole TikTok has been ridiculous t-shirts, and I just saw one that was like, Dad, if you're listening, I'm probably not gonna get this one, but I am gonna share it, because it literally said, it was like, this guy has a botched circumcision, and so my TikTok right now is just full of crazy t-shirts, so I'm gonna get the perfect t-shirt.
I'm so excited to see what you choose.
I'll let you know. I'll keep the pod updated, because by the time this comes out, it will have already happened.
Yeah.
So.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, What's happening in my life, you may ask?
Sorry, I was reading. What's happening in your life? Cut that out. What's happening in your life? I'm sorry. You got 7 texts at the same time from 7 different people.
You can respond. You can text.
Sorry, I'm listening.
Because I'm just going to be storytelling now. I got surgery!
Woo!
On my wrist.
Woo!
I got a proximal rocarpectomy, which I have Kienbach's disease. Or actually had.
Do you not have it anymore?
Well, I don't know.
I thought it was genetic where you always have it. Is that not true?
I don't know. They don't know. The doctors don't
Okay.
know. But I essentially had all the bones who were affected by this disease. I had them taken out of my wrist. So now I have the same amount of dead bones as you, actually.
Huh?
0.
Oh, I was like, I have dead bones.
Oh, no. Allie made that joke, and I thought it was so funny.
That throws someone off because I'm like, I don't have dead bones.
Right?
What?
It threw me off, too, when they said it. But, yeah, so I got my bones taken out, and they did not let me keep them, and I was so sad about it. But we'll start off. It's December 11th. Em had come to watch Sammy, and I went I drove down with a friend to a hotel like 10 minutes away from the ER, or not the ER, but the hospital that I was getting this procedure done at. Mm-hmm. And we got there fairly late. We got there at like 10:30, 11 at night because we left fairly late. And the mirror in the hotel had a Bluetooth speaker.
Really?
Like, I don't remember how much I paid for this hotel for 2 nights, but it was nice. It had a Bluetooth speaker. And so me and my friend spent a good amount of time trying to figure out how to connect to Bluetooth.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, we figured that out and then did homework and then went to bed. I probably fell asleep around 12:30 that night, and my friend fell asleep at like 11 something, but I was just so anxious and so nervous that I kept tossing and turning. Mm-hmm. And because, like, night before surgery, it's scary. So anyways, I wake up at 3:30 the next morning. Didn't really sleep well. I was in and out of sleep, mainly because our friend was sleep talking.
Really?
Yeah. At one point, I was like, I had just started to fall asleep, and I think it was like 1 or 1:30 by this point. And she said, what did she say? She like mumbled. And I was like, I didn't know if she was talking in her sleep or just talking to me.
Yeah.
And so I didn't answer, but I kind of like was more attentive to be like, oh, if she needs me, she can repeat herself.
Yeah.
And so she repeated herself, but it was still like not intelligible?
You couldn't hear.
Yeah, I couldn't understand what she was saying. And so I went like, what? Yeah. And she was like, she just sighed super big. And I was like, do you need something? Are you okay? Like, what's going on? Yeah. She's like, never mind. I'll tell you in 4 years. And I was like, oh my God. And so I couldn't tell if she was being serious or not. Because, like, earlier in the night, she had made a similar joke. She's like, oh, I'll tell you in this amount of time.
Yeah.
Or I'll tell you when this happens.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I can't tell if she's being serious or not. So I just went to sleep, and she kept mumbling to herself. And I was like, oh, she is definitely asleep.
That's funny.
But I woke up at 3:30 to chug water because they were like, do not drink any water 2 hours before your appointment time. And my appointment was at 5:30. And so I was like, I had been drinking water all of the day of the 11th. And then morning of the 12th at 3:30, I chugged water. And the nurses were making fun of me for it because I had to write it down on a little sheet of paper.
Oh.
Being like, when did you last eat? When did you last drink? Kind of letting them know. And it was like, I had a small bottle of water at 3:30. And it was like, I didn't want to be dehydrated because, like, every time I'd get IVs or blood draws, they're like, your veins are so garbage. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, shut up. That doesn't make me feel better. But anyways, so I wake up at 3:30 to shower, get ready to pack. And my appointment's at 5:30. And so we were planning to leave at 5. And so wakes up at 4:50.
That sounds about right. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, good for her. Honestly, like, I dragged her down here. So at 5, we leave and get to the hospital. And on the door, there's a paper sign.
Oh.
And it says, security does not open the doors until 5:30 a.m. And I was like, my appointment's at 5:30. What am I to do? And so I just did the Wordle. I was like, I took a picture of the sign. I was like, if they're going to get mad, like, it's not my fault. So, like, I'm not going to stress about it.
Not, like, call them? Or? Okay.
Like, there were people sitting at the front desk and stuff, and I would wait.
Knocked.
Oh, yeah, no, we were knocking, and we were waving, and they'd just be like, pointing to the sign.
That's stupid.
And I'm
you
like,
should have held up on their phone, like, my appointment's at 5:30.
Well, 7 other people showed up near the door, and their appointments were at 5:30 too, and they were getting pissed. But they were like,
be too.
Which is, like, totally fair. It's 5:30 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of, like, crotchety people. But I was just like, you know what? Whatever. Is what it is. And so, anyways, 5:30 rolls around. Security opens the doors. And we all walk in. And for some reason, everyone there goes to the second floor where I was going. I was like, great. So I sped walk.
Yeah.
Like, which I felt kind of bad because I was, like, almost pushing past, like, older people, but I was like,
I see.
I was just getting past them because they're slow.
Yeah.
And so, I'm the first one to check in at, like, 5 something, and a nurse takes me back at, like, 5:40-ish, 5:45, something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this, but on the walls everywhere in the waiting room, because I had been to this building, but, like, only to the basement for, like, x-rays and stuff, not to this floor specifically. And on the walls everywhere, there's these massive screens, like the size of a menu or something, like a vertical rectangle screen. And they have a bunch of numbers on them. And what it is it's like a patient tracker. So you look like had my number, my patient number.
Yeah.
And she was looking at the screen to see if I was in pre-op, if I was in surgery, if I was in post-op. Cool. So really high tech.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't think the last place I got my surgery had that. I'll have to ask.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really cool. So anyways, get checked in, and then 5:40-ish rolls around, and a nurse comes to take me back, and I'm terrified because they make us stay out in the waiting room. And I was like, before, they allowed me to have a friend up until I went to the OR. So that's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
But no. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm mortified. And so then this woman was like, okay, do you need to use the bathroom? So I went, use the bathroom. And then she's like, here is your room where you're going to be in for the next few hours. Here's a gown. Here's some bags. Change and put your stuff in these bags. And I was like, okay. And so I put on this purple gown. And it is very long. It, like, goes below my knees, like, to my calves, where I've only ever had them go to, like, just above my knees.
Yeah.
It was very long. So I change, whatever, get settled. They start hooking me up to IVs and all sorts of monitors and stuff. And they run the monitor, and it immediately starts beeping. And they're like, are you okay? What's happening? And I was like, I'm kind of stressed out. And they were like, yeah, I figured. Do you want us to go get your friend? And I was like, yeah, sure. And they're like, okay, we can get her as soon as we're done with the IV. Because they were really cautious about, like, not having her in the room when they were adjusting something on me, placing more monitors on me, or, like, poking me with anything, which I think it's both, like, a sanitary reason, but also a cautionary reason, too, you know? But they, sorry, I'm forgetting what else happened. Oh, yeah, so I get my IV, get everything hooked up, comes back, and she, like, it maybe took them 5 minutes to go get her from when they were done with me to go get her.
Yeah.
And so I turned on Luca. Because they were like, oh, yeah, we have movies, we have music, a bunch of media you can just play around with. And I was like, okay. And so I was like, might as well watch Luca. But then we didn't watch Luca. I just had a constant flow of doctors and nurses and surgeons and other people going in and out of my room, like a part of my team, which was really cool. But, like, also kind of chaotic. So I just switched it to music. And I met the anesthesiologist. He's kind of cute.
Oh.
He's very cute. And he was like kind of describing me this whole procedure, you know? Sorry, rewind. He was describing me the procedure for the nerve block, which essentially goes in your shoulder, makes your whole arm numb because they inject something to like make your nerves not do their job.
Yeah.
And I had a nerve block the last time I had surgery, but I had a nerve block and heavy sedation, and that's it. So I was technically awake for my last surgery.
Ooh.
But I don't remember anything.
Okay.
But for this one, they're doing a nerve block and general anesthesia, which made me really nervous because, like, general anesthesia, I only knew of it as the gas.
Yeah.
But they did it through my IV. And I was like...
Oh, sorry.
No, you're so good. Which I was like, thank God, because, like, the gas is what makes people's stomach hurts and make people... Yeah, because
I would much prefer the gas.
Really?
I think, not to interject, but
No,
I
you're
think
good.
it's because after I had my... after I got that sedative that one time...
Yeah.
I hate feet because I felt it, and I felt it go through my veins, and I felt it at work. I was like, I'd rather just, like, breathe, and all of a sudden I'm, like, loopy and falling asleep. Like, I'd rather that than feeling it go through my body.
That's real. I didn't feel it go through my body. Oh my God. When they first took up my IV, it was just, like, fluids and stuff.
Yeah.
I saw a little air bubble going through, and I was like... I was terrified, and I was like, one of the nurses, she was so sweet. I don't think she actually did anything.
She was just there.
She was kind of just there, but I know she was in the OR, so she had to have done some stuff. But when she was first introducing herself to me, she didn't do anything. We'll call her H for the sake of this. But she, at one point, made a comment of how she was just, like, standing around not doing anything, collecting dust. And so she left. But when I saw this little bubble go through, I was like, H, there's a bubble in my IV. And she said, you've been watching way too much medical dramas. Stop it. I was like, what am I stopping? So, like, I didn't see my IV on my hand, but there was, like, several valves and, like, things to get rid of the air, so it was fine. And it was also the fact that, like, the air, or the IV had just started, so, like, no shit, there was going to be air in it.
Yeah.
But I was still so scared. And they had to get, oh my gosh, this is what they did that I loved, being at a high-tech medical center, was... They used an ultrasound to find my veins instead of stabbing me 9,000 times.
That's nice.
Because they were like, dang, your veins really aren't showing. And I was like, I hydrated, like, I've peed 4 times since being here. And they were like, yeah, we trust you. And so they got the ultrasound. And they're like, your veins are beautiful. They're just really deep. And I was like, oh, okay. Good.
That sounds like a weird compliment.
Right? Like, I didn't really know how to feel it. And I didn't have any bruising.
Oh, that's nice.
Like, I have a little bit of, like, I guess I don't even have it anymore. I had a little bit of a scab, but, like, that's normal.
Yeah.
But I had no bruising. They didn't stab me 9 times. And I was like, okay, that alone makes the 2-hour drive worth it. Just to have that much more care and attentiveness.
Yeah.
But anyways, so they hooked me up to, like, a bunch of fluids and to a little bit of sedation for, like, my anxiety and stuff so I could, like, relax. And let's see, all the nurses were super bored. This is also what I learned out because, like, figured out at 5:30 a.m., 6 a.m., there's nobody there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like an ER section. It was like an operating room section. So, like, the only patients who were there were the ones that I had seen who I had gone in before them.
Yeah.
And so I was the only one there. So all the nurses were like, hey, girl, how's it going?
I love that.
And they were just being so nice and so friendly. I can't shout her out, but I'll bleep her name. But was her name? We'll call her S. She was a homie. She just, like, she'd be like, sorry, girl, I have to put this EKG under your boob.
Don't Don't you love when they're just so cool like that? And they're like, I'm going to talk you through everything.
Yeah.
I like when they're like that, and I like when they treat me like a child, which I know is weird, but it makes everything so much easier when they're just like, start calling you sweetheart and honey, and they're just like, I know it's going to be uncomfortable, but I'm like, no, tell me, like, do I get a lollipop after? Like,
truly. No, S was exactly like this. She was like, you're doing great, sweetie. She kept calling me honey pie. And
I love her.
It's like,
can we get her on the pod?
I wish. She was so amazing. Like, all of the nurses I had were truly phenomenal, and I don't think I've ever had an experience like that before.
That's so awesome.
Shouts out to Mayo for doing that. Anyways, so a bunch of people were coming in and out, and at one point, a guy came in. He's like, hello, I'm Dr. So-and-so. And I was like, hi, I'm Sierra, like first and last name. And he was like, you're not my patient. Goodbye. And I was like, oh, because I was so used to people coming in and out of my room that I was like, sure, yeah, you're one of the people I'm supposed to be meeting. But nope, he was not. Anyways.
So funny.
So continues, then they give me the nerve block, they put it in my shoulder, and I had to like turn my head away just so they could access it. Like I had to turn my head to the left. And when I first had a nerve block, I could feel every bit of it.
Yeah.
And I could feel popping, and it hurt, and I was like having a really hard time just breathing through it. And so I was expecting the same experience again. And also, the first nerve block I got took 20 minutes for them to put in. This time, I'm braced. It was absurdly long. And so I'm like closing my eyes and I look away and I hear them, they like 2 minutes later, they're like, we're almost done, Sierra. And I felt nothing. Like I felt them put it into my shoulder, but it didn't hurt that bad. But I was like, oh my God, I didn't feel a pop. I didn't feel anything. And then like I'm just focusing on my breathing, like my eyes are closed. And they're like, you did really great with that. We're all done. And H was standing in the room and she's like, dang, I thought they gave you a little too much sedation and you fell asleep already. And I was like, no, being a yoga instructor and having tattoos helps with breathing and pain management. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you're a real one for that. I will never forget her saying that. So funny. But anyways, so that happens. They kicked my friend out before the nerve block. We had hung out for maybe like 20-ish minutes, 30-ish minutes. Yeah. I was never bored. Like, I never felt like I was just sitting around doing nothing.
That's nice.
Right? And so, anyways, they then take me into the OR. I'm getting wheeled on the bed. And the OR is freezing. And I don't remember much of it, but I remember everyone was kind of in high spirits. They were making jokes. They were laughing. And even then, like, I was laughing, too, at a few jokes that people were making. Yeah. And then they were like, all right, Sierra, take 3 deep breaths and place an oxygen mask on me. And I was like, I thought you guys said it was going to be through my IV, not the gas. They were like, no, it is through your IV. We just need you to breathe oxygen. And I was like, okay.
We just need you to breathe. Yeah. Like, actually.
Yeah, they're like, we just need you to breathe. I was like, okay, cool. So I was breathing, and then good night. And then I wake up, and then I have a ginger ale in my hand. Oh. Like, I don't remember what had happened, but I had a ginger ale in my hand. My arm was propped up in this weird foam block that I've had to keep my arm in every single night since, and every day. And Anna was next to me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hey, how long have I been here? And she was like, oh, like to the nurse who was there. She's like, oh, you've only been here 10 minutes post-op. Oh, wow. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you woke up really quickly. And I was like, oh. And I thought I wouldn't remember that because when I had my wisdom teeth out and had general anesthesia, I think I was in recovery for 2 hours.
That's crazy.
Right? Like,
They had you in recovery?
After my surgery?
No, after, like, wisdom teeth?
Well, recovery. It was just like I was in a chair in a different room.
What? But that's what I mean. Is like they kept you because for Hunter, they sent him home immediately. Oh. They the teeth were out and they gave him to his dad and said, "Take him home. These are the list of things he can't eat if like he starts to feel worse. All this stuff."
Oh my gosh!
It was like as soon as they were done, they woke him up. Like they woke him up. They were like, "Hey, time to wake up," and sent him home. I remember because I was on the phone with him, and I was like, they didn't keep you? And I was, like, talking to his dad, too. It was the one time I talked to him. I was like, they didn't keep him? Like, you didn't tell them to keep him for a little bit? He was like, no, they sent me on my way. I didn't think to ask. I was like, he should be there in case something happens, or in case he breaks something immediately.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, he just sent him on his way. And I was like, okay.
That's so odd.
Nice, that's cool. And he was, like, talking, and I kept trying to be like, stop talking. Hunter, shut up. Hunter, stop talking.
Oh, my God.
You're not supposed to be talking. He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, no, you're not. Please stop. Please. So, yeah, that's why I didn't know. I figured you were supposed to stay. They sent him on his way. They said, you're good, man.
That's awful.
I know.
And
they said, get packing.
That's crazy. They said, to the streets with you.
Literally.
Oh, my God.
They said, you're the dad. Take him.
Poor Hunter.
Because I thought so. And I was like, I haven't met anyone who's also had some teeth out, so I couldn't ask and be like, did they keep you?
Did they keep you?
You kept there for a little bit? Continue.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
You're so good. But yeah, so I was in recovery for a longer time, but at that point I had only been there for 10 minutes, and I didn't realize that I had ordered myself a ginger ale.
Love that.
Because according to she said the nurse was retelling her the story of, because I came into the room and I had a ginger ale. So the nurse was like, apparently asking me, like, do you want any crackers? Do you want water?
Yeah.
Do you want anything to drink or snack on? And I said, do you have ginger ale? I love ginger ale as my, like, hospital or, like, airport drink. Or just, like, if I know there's a chance of me getting sick, ginger ale. Because for some reason that eliminates the chance of me getting sick, you know?
100%.
But, so that happened, and so I was like, oops, I guess I was demanding. But their nurses were all super sweet, and one of them even said that I was like a breath of fresh air, because like in orthopedics they mainly deal with old people.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I was there just happy-go-lucky, not a care in the world, just like, oh, this is nice. But I also realized while in recovery that every other person there had one of those classic, like, blue and green fabric gowns.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I was the only one to have the weird purple, like, long papery gown.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I never asked why, but I don't know. Because, like, those gowns, the fabric ones, they just have 2 ties in the back.
Yeah.
Mine had a tie in the back, and then I could wrap it around, so it was more like a wrap dress, and tie it on the side. But then there were also, like, options all over the gown for, like, in case they needed to hook up more monitors, or they could punch out holes in the gown for more access to stuff. It was very strange as to why I was given that gown and not a different one, but, like...
I wonder if it had to do with, like, age or something.
Maybe.
Or, like, because of the procedure you were getting, or they ran out.
Maybe. So anyways, in recovery, and then afterwards, I got dressed, which they shoot on Lisa out there. Like, go get the car. Like, we'll bring Sierra down in a wheelchair in a bit, because they didn't want me, like, exerting myself.
Yeah.
And so, I had to pee so freaking bad from all the fluids they gave me. And so I got dressed as fast as I could, which they had brought. Guess how many nurses they had brought to help me get dressed?
5.
6.
Oh, I was so close.
You were so close by saying 5, but they had brought 6. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I can get dressed myself. Like, sorry. And they're like, oh, okay, well then 4 of them left, and so I was just left with 2. And I was like, they're like, how are you so sure? And I'm like, oh, I've had a nerve block before. I know what it's like for my arm to be dead. And so,
yeah,
for lack of a better term. And they're like, oh, usually that doesn't happen. So they just helped me put on my sports bra, and then one of them leaves. And then the other one was like, I have to stay here for legalities. And I was like, that is totally fine. Just, like, face a wall. And she was like, okay. So I get dressed, like, fairly quickly. And then I was like, okay, can I go to the bathroom? And she's like, yeah, do you need a wheelchair? And I was like, no, I feel fine to walk. And so she's like, okay, but walk slow, please. And so I walk comically slow. Because I'm still slightly loopy from the drugs. And so I'm walking, like, if you tell a toddler to be like, hey, slow down, and they move like slow motion, I am doing that. And so this nurse, she's like, you can walk a little faster But she's like maybe 5-6 years older than me.
Yeah.
And we were already talking about like our undergrad experience. Like she only graduated 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, we're homies. Like she's great. And so then I did my business and then came back. And then my arm was really starting to hurt. And so then the original nurse who was like telling everything that I've said, I was like, hey, my arm is starting to hurt. She's like, oh, that's not good because you have a nerve block.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you want an oxy? And I was like, sure. She's like, but you have to eat these first. She gave me the most delicious cookies, and I can get them at Target, I found out. And so I'm going to get them at Target. I don't remember. Let me look. They're called like Ladones or something.
Target pod trip. Hey, guys.
We podcast at Target. We'll figure out the laws.
Yeah.
Still haven't figured out how those work yet. Lorna Doone.
Oh, I love those.
They were so good.
Those are so good.
I had one before I took my meds, and then she gave me 3 for the road. So I was like, yes, please. Thank you. So then after that, it kicked in pretty quickly, and I felt better. And then the homie Bob, I don't think Bob's a nurse or anything, but Bob whips around with a wheelchair. It says, Miss Dawn, your chariot is here. Okay. And I was like, oh, hey. And he's like a retired man. And
I love old people.
Right? He's so great. And so I had never sat in a wheelchair coherently before. And so he zooms me to the car, and he's just talking to me about his life, his kids, how he's retired, how he works at the hospital part-time, and how he's just living life. And I was like, oh, slay. So I get in the car, I get all comfy, and then we head back up here, which I thought, like, when I originally had a doctor's appointment plan, they had talked to me. They're like, okay, you're going to be in pre-op from 2 to 4 hours. You're going to be in operation for 2 to 3 hours. And you're going to be in post-op for, I think it was still like 2 to 3 hours. Like you're going to be in recovery for a long time. I wrote down the entire timeline. In pre-op, I was there from 5:45 to 7:30 a.m. And then I was in the operating room from 7:45 to 9:30 a.m. And then I was in post-op till about, I was in post-op at about, or till about 10-ish, so like 30-ish minutes. And then we checked out of the hotel by 10:25, and we were home by 1. I was expecting us to get home by like 5 or 6 or like 7, super late. But this is all from like on line that she gave me. But once I got home, felt great.
Yeah.
And they gave me some like anti-nausea medicine, so I wasn't nauseous at all. I wasn't even sleepy on the car ride. Like I was kind of out of it, but like I felt comfortable and totally fine. So I got home, I ate, I took Sammy out, which I thought I wasn't gonna be able to do, but like
I was on standby.
Emma was on standby for that. I took a nap, and then Allie came over. We had dinner together, and then we slept, but then I slept. And so, yeah, I've just been in recovery since the 12th. Just taking Tylenol now. I haven't taken Tylenol since this morning, so I'm feeling pretty okay. Good. Lots of resting, a lot of coloring with my left hand, because our friend Kiki got me a coloring book. And when I got it, Allie was here, so Allie helped me open this. First thing I said was, how does bitch expect me to color? And then I FaceTimed Kiki, and we just talked for hours.
It's so funny. She's so funny.
She's a character. But yeah, we just FaceTimed for I think like 2 hours, me, her, and Allie.
I love that.
That night. And then Allie went home. And yeah, so now I'm just on recovery.
Woo!
Yeah, that's it. If y'all have any questions about my surgery or Kienbach's disease, put them in the comments below, because in a few weeks, we'll be recording another episode about Kienbach's disease, comparing the 2 surgeries I've had.
I thought it was Kienbach.
Kienbach? I don't know how to pronounce it.
For a while, you kept saying Kienbach, so I thought it was Kienbach disease.
I know. I used to say Kienbach, but then someone corrected me, and then another person corrected me, and now I don't know how to say it. So it's either Kienbach,
Keyshawn Bach?
Keyshawn Bach?
I
I don't know.
That's a football player.
I am a football player. But, do you have anything to help me with this transition? Any questions? It's okay. But I got hurt, and sometimes other people get hurt in cinematic universes.
Okay.
Did you like that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. 100%.
So, now, since this episode is... I don't talk enough in this episode, I'm going to talk a little more, and I'm going to tell you some Marvel things.
Do you want me to tell you when I was a Marvel fan?
Yes.
The era?
Yeah.
The era, I was... So, what's so funny? So, I was talking to Hunter about this. We did a little cute date night in... First night that we came to watch him, when you guys had driven down, we went to downtown and we had Thai food and we walked around and we got this little like blind box thing that was like $20. We got a Martha Stewart candle.
Love.
I keep calling her Mother Martha.
Mother May.
Mother Martha. We love Mother Martha. In this household, yep. Anyways, so what's funny is we were talking about Marvel because I was telling him about the podcast and he was like, "Oh, I remember when Marvel was like this," and I was like, "Dude, I remember when I would read Marvel fan fiction, and everyone would be living in Avengers Tower, and everyone had their separate bedrooms, and Thor was obsessed with Pop-Tarts, and it was like, you were usually Tony Stark's kid or Bruce Banner's kid in the stories, and you were always in love with Captain America." And I remember being in that era of Marvel, where it was like, Thor loved Pop-Tarts, Peter Parker loved to color, Black Widow and Scarlet Witch always shared a room. Yeah. And they were always your best friends. And usually the guy you liked was across the hall. And 9 times out of 10, it was either Bucky Barnes or Captain America. And that's the era of Marvel I lived in. And once we got out of that era, I stopped watching Marvel movies. They got really bad and they became quantity over quality. But I still lived through those days of reading like Marvel like fan fiction. Sorry, Dad. I'm an avid fan fiction reader. You used to check my phone. You know what I read. But I remember I was telling him I pulled up one of the old fan fictions I used to read, and I was reading some segments from it, and I was like, "This is the cringy stuff that me as a child I used to listen to such like motivational, like grungy music, like Blue October. I used to listen to them and read these fan fictions and be so immersed in that world. Like that's the era of Marvel I was in.
That's great. Alright, so early 2010s.
I was such a huge Marvel fan growing up because of fan fiction.
That's real though.
Escapism.
Truly.
Anyways,
but
that's my contribution for this podcast.
I love that. Well, we'll have you play some games and do some things after, which you will need a piece of paper, but I'll get that later.
Paper. I brought a notebook, remember?
And
a marker.
And a marker. But I'm going to kind of run through the phases of Marvel real quick. Because much like Taylor Swift, Marvel has their eras. Oh, 100%. And so these are all the cinematic eras. We're not counting comics or anything like that.
Well, it's the MCU, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the MCU.
That's what it's called. There's the MCU and the MCC.
Yes. But phase 1 is from 2008 to 2012. We have Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and the first Avengers movie comes out at the end of 2012. And so these movies are basically if you have never read the comics, they're to allow viewers to get to know the characters, get to know their backstories, and kind of set up plots and little things that Easter eggs that turn into messes of things later. But to be honest, okay, hot take. I feel like ever since his name is Stan Lee. Yes. Yeah. Ever since Stan Lee passed away, Marvel has gone to shit.
It's because they got a new showrunner, and he sucks. He's very quantity over quality.
Yes, which sucks. Then we move to 2013 to 2015, which this was when I was introduced to Marvel by my friend Nishika.
Really? I was an OG. I was Iron Man came out. My dad said, "Watch this movie." I don't know why my dad's a southern redneck man now. But he said, "Watch this movie with me." And every time a new one came out, we ate Tostino's pizzas and watched it together.
I love that.
Thanks, Dad.
My mom, I think once we were in middle school, my mom would rent them on Netflix. And
dang, remember when you had to rent things on Netflix?
Yeah, sorry to age myself a little bit.
In Redbox? You ever do Redbox?
Yes, yep. We used to do Redbox all the time. Which I'm shocked Redbox is only just now going out of business.
I know.
Like, I thought it was going to be way long ago.
I remember watching Captain America and the Winter Soldier. My dad and I rented it on Redbox and bought Tostino's pizzas.
Heck yeah.
And then he sent my siblings with my stepmom, and we watched it together, and it was the best time of my life.
As you should. Our favorite thing with Redbox was we would rent a DVD somewhere, and then at wherever location we would go, we'd return that Redbox there and get a new one for the way back.
I love that.
You know, creativity.
But for sure.
2013 to 2015 is when I really started to dive deep. So this is when my mom was renting them on DVD for us to watch in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? Age of Ultron. I saw this the summer before 8th grade because my friend Nishika, she was like, it was her birthday. Or no, maybe it was just the last day of school sort of thing, but it was in theaters. And so like 6 of us, her mom took 6 of us to the theater and we watched Age of Ultron and I became obsessed. I hadn't seen the first Avengers at this point.
Really?
Yeah. So after Age of Ultron, I pretty much spent that entire summer catching up on all the movies. And then my dad took me and my brothers and I to go see Ant-Man, which was released that July because I think my dad loves Paul Rudd, if I remember that correctly. I love Paul Rudd. It was so funny. And then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started. I couldn't
watch that.
Oh, so good.
I wasn't a TV show person until like Loki came out.
That's real. That's fair. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is essentially like, yes, there are the Avengers, but then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are the people like...
They work at S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, they work at S.H.I.E.L.D., which is essentially like a security division below the Avengers, closer to civilians, if that makes sense. Because, like, the Avengers are fighting monsters from out of space. S.H.I.E.L.D. might just fight, like, terrorists, a disease, or something like that, you know? So that's when I started watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Was when it started in... it started in 2013, and so I think I started watching it 2014, 2015, because I think I've said this on a previous episode, Nishika was obsessed with it. Her and her dad were obsessed with it. And so then I was like, okay, I'll watch it. So every Wednesday morning before school, since we had late start, I would watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's what I did. And then Nishika and I would debrief about it. And then phase 3, which is 2016 to 2019, we have the release of Civil War, Black Panther, Guardians 2, Thor Ragnarok, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp. For Civil War, my dad and I went to see it together because, like, nobody else wanted to see it with me. Like, Nishika had literally seen a midnight premiere of it. And I was like, okay, no invite. Yeah. So my dad put on his Iron Man shirt because he kind of looks like Tony Stark.
I can
right?
see it.
Right?
My dad also kind of looks like Tony Stark.
I can see it.
His beard a certain way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just a dad thing.
100%.
But I had this, like, blue shirt, and it had, like, half shield, half Iron Man's light on it.
I had a pin.
So I had a shirt. And so my dad and I, like, we got dressed up and went and saw the movie. And that was very sweet of him because he was probably tired of me complaining. Like, no one wants to see Civil War with me. But I was so amped. Like, I had been waiting for Civil War to come out.
Oh, yeah.
And then Black Panther. Oh, my God. Black Panther was such a good movie.
I didn't watch it until, like, later after it came out. And not for any reason. It was literally just, I was so obsessed with Spider-Man at the time that I didn't watch it until later.
Oh my God, I don't think any of the Spider-Mans are on this list.
No! 2 of them came out in phase 3, 1 of them came out in phase 4. If that's helpful.
I know you are really into the
I love Spider-Man.
Spider-Man universe.
Yeah, I love Spider-Man.
Is this your Spider-Man flannel?
No.
Oh, I thought you were going to wear it today.
I thought about it, and then I looked for it, and it's packed.
Oh, man.
So,
all right.
I thought about it. But it is a flannel. I did try to stick with the flannel theme.
Excuse me.
I almost wore my shirt that says prove to me telekinesis is, like, real by raising my hand. Almost wore that.
Oh, that would have been a good one. Where was I? Oh, yeah. What else did I see? Ooh, Thor Ragnarok. One of the funnier movies I've seen. Like, that, if you just want, like, it's kind of like the Guardians of the Galaxy, where if you need to turn your brain off for whatever reason, you can just turn it on for a good laugh, and you can enjoy it without knowing any of the storyline, you know? And I've never seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. I've only ever seen the first Ant-Man, so I need to watch that.
No, you've seen the third Ant-Man.
I've seen the third.
We saw it.
I know, we saw Ant-Man in the Quantum Realm or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never seen Ant-Man and the Wasp. But then we have...
not too good. Sorry.
That's what I've heard. People are like, Nashika was like, you don't really need to see it. I'm like,
but
okay.
Quantumanium's good.
Quantumanium is good.
That one's just a different mark.
Then we have Phase 4, 2021 to 2023. This is where a bunch of the new... What?
I said, well, I spelled infinity very wrong. Don't look.
But Phase 4 is where a bunch of the new TV shows come out, which I don't like. Yes, I get some of them are good shows, but I don't like how they've taken advantage of the actors like that.
What do you mean?
Like...
Sorry, I just don't...
No, you're good. It feels like their roles have been cheapened now that they have TV shows. Does that make sense?
Ooh, we can get into a fun little, not debate. I was going to say debate about it, not debate, but...
No, give me your thoughts, because one, I've never seen any of these shows, so I don't know if I'm one to talk.
I think it depends on the show.
Okay.
Like, WandaVision, amazing. It is so good, and they really dive deep into comic Wanda that you don't get to see in the movies, because there's so many people, you can't dive into each story, so her getting her own show is awesome.
Yeah.
Because it was so good. Falcon and Winter Soldier was needed because of the new movies that are coming out.
Yeah.
And they're introducing a new Captain America, and he was first introduced in that show.
Yeah.
So, like, that one was needed. Black Widow, that was a movie, but that was... Loki was great, too, because that dives into timelines, and when you have a movie series that has so many timelines, and they introduced it in the last movie of the core phases, it's like... You need a show that's going to bridge it together.
Yeah.
That one was good. As for a lot of the other shows, the only other show that I'm, like, a huge fan of is Moon Knight. Because he was always my favorite from the comics. I was a comic kid. Thanks, Uncle Zach! I was a comic kid.
I have an Uncle Zach, too. Yeah.
How does he spell it?
Z-A-C?
Mine's Z-A-K. That's why I was curious. But he kind of got me in. He was a huge comic guy. He was also in the military, so when he would leave, I would get to go in his room and read his comics. He didn't know that. Sorry if you're listening. I was like 6. But I remember reading Moon Knight comics, and it's a lot with Egyptian mythology, and so that's the only other show I approve of. All the other shows I think are crap, and I think that's the quantity over quality thing.
Yes. That's what I was saying when it, like, cheapens their role. They're just trying to make a bunch with this character.
And they're not even good characters.
Yeah.
Why do I want to see She-Hulk? I don't care.
For real. But I think it's good to have that perspective of, like, oh, they're explaining timelines that movies don't have time to touch on everything. And that's super important to note. Although the Hawkeye show, I think we could have lived without.
I liked it for the sole purpose of Rogers the Musical. I forgot that was a show. That one I also only liked because they really showed deaf Clint. Because he's deaf in all the comics. He never has hearing from the time we meet him. He's deaf. And they don't do that until the show, and it pisses me off.
Interesting.
I want him to be deaf. I needed him to be deaf earlier. Because that's, like, it's true to the character. It just shows more representation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fair. And excuse me.
Don't die.
This is the time where I stop watching.
I still watch.
Which I think this is around the time that Stan Lee passed, too. I watched Black Widow, thought that Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh, total badasses in it.
Oh, 100%.
And I almost said Harbor Freight. What's his name?
Harbor Freight? Like the store?
No, what's David Harbour.
Yeah, but Harbor Freight's a store.
I know, that's why I was like, I know it's not that. Love David Harbour. I think everything else about that movie is absolute garbage. But yeah, Black Widow's good. Little gory, but good. And then moving on to Phase 5, we have more seasons of shows. We have Season 5, sorry, Phase 5 is 2023 to 2024. The multiverse saga begins.
And technically 2025.
That's a whole different phase.
It's 2023 to 2025.
Oh, Googs said 2023 to 2024 and then 2025 to 2028.
Oh, I know it as 23 to 25, and then half of 25 to 28. Because 25, they're splitting the first half season.
I guess, which now I'm looking at my notes, which I just copied and pasted.
It's
but
okay.
anyways,
sorry, don't mind me.
my bad.
No, you're good.
They have a bunch of new movies being released and a new miniseries. We have Captain America, Brave New World. We have Deadpool and Wolverine, which...
Brave New World?
Captain America.
I thought it was New World Order.
Oh. Where are these notes from, Google? We have Daredevil, a couple other things, too. And then we move into Phase 6, which is the rest of 2025 and 2028. We have Fantastic Four, and then Avengers Doomsday, and Spider-Man 4, and Avengers Secret War. You have thoughts.
I just love the Fantastic Four cast. I'm so excited for those movies.
Which, isn't Channing Tatum a part of the Fantastic Four now, instead of John from The Office?
Huh?
I think, I could be wrong, but...
I just know Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic. And Joseph Quinn is Johnny Storm.
Oh.
I'm very, very excited. Also, I just love the Fantastic Four. And there's another actor from The Bear who I love, and he's the Thing. I'm so excited for him to be the Thing.
Interesting.
Or Thing, sorry. For him to be
the
Thing.
Thing.
Well, because I'm used to saying the Hulk.
Oh, real.
The Abomination. I don't say the Venom, but Venom. So Thing is weird.
Yeah.
But very excited.
I have a gripe with what's about to happen in Phase 6.
I'm gonna have a gripe that we're calling it Phase 6. Sorry.
No, real.
Not us, but the world.
But Avengers Doomsday.
Okay, you have a gripe with Doomsday.
Okay, sorry. I have a gripe with Doomsday because Doctor Doom is going to be played by Robert Downey Jr.
I don't have a gripe with that. Is that bad?
I mean, it's everyone's opinions, but I think...
It sounds like the thing where it's like, it's everyone's opinion, but yours is wrong.
No. I just think, because he has already played such an iconic character in the MCU as Tony Stark and Iron Man, that he should not be able to play a different character in the MCU.
That's why I think it's great, because of the multiverse, because there could be a universe, like this Doctor Doom could come from a universe where there's no Tony Stark, and he becomes Doctor Doom. Like, there's no Iron Man, and he becomes Doctor Doom, because then it leads these characters to a moral battle. Here's my film major coming out. Leads these characters to a moral battle of, that looks like my friend, but that's not my friend. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, that looks like, for Peter Parker, it's like, I appreciate your thoughts, but it's like one of those things where you think of it as like, for Peter Parker, he sees Dr. Doom as looks like Tony Stark, and it's this moral battle of, I can't hurt him, that's my mentor, but then it's the mental thing of, that's not him, that's a different person. I don't know, I love it, because you get to play more in that multiverse factor, and Robert Downey Jr. was not ready to go, so I'm glad that they found somewhere to play him, because he wanted to keep doing
That's fair.
movies, just not play Iron Man.
That's so interesting, though, but we'll see how it is.
I'm very excited.
We'll see. But anyways, I saw you taking notes before we get into our little game. Would you like to share your thoughts?
I just was writing down my favorite movies from each phase.
Okay.
And so from phase 1, I said Captain America and Avengers, loved. Phase 2, Age of Ultron, is why I started theorizing, and because I remember I told my dad, we're jumping to Endgame, but I told my dad, I remember when I saw Age of Ultron, hi Sammy, I remember when I saw it, at the very end credit scene, they're all in Avengers Tower, and Thor puts the hammer on the table, and they're all trying to move it, and when Captain America does it, it turns ever so slightly, and it wasn't meant to happen. It was a screw, they didn't tighten the screw, it was like from everyone pulling on it, they didn't think to tighten in between, so it was a genuine accident of Chris Evans moving it, and Thor has a face of like, what the f***? Like, I'm the only one who should move it. And then in Endgame, Captain America puts his hand out, and freaking Mjolnir comes to him, and I remember looking at my dad in the theater, and I looked at him, and I went, see? I called it! And he just looked at me and goes, I know. And it was a packed theater, we were on the end, and I had the worst view of the movie, but I remember pointing and looking at my dad and just being like, I called it. All those years ago in 2014 or whatever, when it came out, I literally said, he's gonna move it eventually. He's gonna call it, like, he is worthy.
What's the name of Thor's hammer?
Mjolnir.
I just remember the interview of like
Jonathan?
Yeah. Not Adam Sandler.
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
They're like, what's the name of Thor's hammer? And he goes,
Jonathan?
I wanted to say it,
so
but I didn't know if anyone
funny.
would get it. And then also from that same one, I love Guardians of the Galaxy, my favorite movie series. Love that. And
Yeah,
Winter
Guardians of
Soldier.
the Galaxy is good.
Have a lot of memories with Winter Soldier and my dad. Phase 3, absolutely love Guardians 2. I also wrote down he's a friend from work because you were talking about Ragnarok and I wanted to say it, but I didn't. But that's the line I always think of. He's a friend from work.
Yep.
Spider-Man 1 and 2, Homecoming and Far From Home. Loved.
Good.
The one thing I love Jake Gyllenhaal in because he plays such a good bad guy.
Yeah, he does.
I don't like him, but he plays such a good bad guy. And then I put Phase 3.5 because I don't count it as Phase 4.
Oh, yeah.
But I say 3.5 is Infinity War and Endgame. Love them. Made me cry so much. So much. I remember watching both of them in theaters with my dad. Phase 4, I love Loki, WandaVision, Eternals. I know people on Eternals, but it has so much good mythology in it, and they play it up, and Icarus is my favorite Greek story, and he's in that movie, and so he automatically wins. There's also a fun Game of Thrones reference for all you Game of Thrones fans out there. The two guys who play Robb Stark and Jon Snow are in that movie, and at the end of, or the last time they see each other in Game of Thrones, Robb Stark's character looks at Jon Snow and says, or Kit Harington, but Jon Snow, and says, next time I see you, it'll be in black. They never see each other again in that show, but in this movie, the first time their characters meet, Kit Harington's wearing all black.
Whoa.
So it was a fun little Easter egg thing there.
Interesting.
And then Moon Knight, I already talked about, and I love Shang-Chi. I think that's such a good movie. Simu Lee is hot. And then Phase 5, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I watched that with Hunter, and we sobbed in that theater.
So good.
Sobbed in that theater. But yeah. Those are my notes, because I didn't want to talk over you.
That's okay. I also realized none of the Doctor Strange movies are included in this.
Oh.
I did these notes super last minute. But now, I want you...
Oh, no.
You are going to blindly rank
Oh, I'm so down.
some Marvel characters. Okay?
Characters? Okay.
Or...
That's fine.
Character? What do you mean characters?
I said characters? I was expecting you to say movies. I'll do
Oh, no, characters.
Okay. How many are there?
11.
Okay.
First one, we have my favorite, Meek.
Who?
Meek. From Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, is it the little, oh. Mm-hmm. Oh.
You're thinking of the right person.
Okay. I was like, I can see it. Oh. It's not like the worst, but I don't. The fact that it took me a minute, I feel like says a lot. That'd be like number 9.
Okay.
What is it? M-E-E-K? Meek?
Yeah. Okay. And then his buddy, Korg.
Oh, Korg is so funny.
I love Korg. I used to call them Stink and Leak because I couldn't remember their names. Or Rock and Bach. And it would drive Nashika insane.
That's something my dad does. He'll, like, if he can't remember the name, he just says something. And I'm like, that's not what it's called. Korg, I think that's Taika Waititi's character, right?
Yeah, that's why it's so funny.
I think I just love him. I think 5 for Korg.
Okay.
And I think I love his introduction where he's like, hi, I'm Korg.
Hi, I'm Korg. Doc Ock.
Oh, like the Alfred Molina?
Sure.
That's the actor, sorry. I feel like this is fun to do with film major because I'm like, oh, I love an actor.
I don't know many actors.
That's Alfred Molina. He's in Fiddler on the Roof, the original.
Oh!
Yeah, he's the original Fiddler
I was like, the name sounds vaguely familiar, but
awesome.
I could be going crazy.
Oh, that one's hard because I like him, but also, like, Doc Ock's not my favorite Spider-Man villain, so he'll be, like, a solid 7.
Okay. Loki.
8. I'm not a huge Loki fan, but I like his TV show.
Real. Deadpool.
Hot take. I hate Deadpool. I don't think he's funny. Why are you whispering?
I said me too. I think he is more cringy.
He's such boy humor. I love boy humor. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, very boy humor.
Boy humor. I just don't like him. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Farmer. I know you love him. He's just going to be my number 11.
Okay. We have T'Challa, also known as Black Panther.
4.
Okay. Captain America.
2. Sorry, I love Chris Evans. I used to have him in my phone case. I almost put Captain Evans. Nope.
Captain Evans. Mm-hmm.
But Captain America as a character is so good, and I love that they're kind of taking... Sorry, I'm going to talk for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they're taking the same thing as Spider-Man, where it's like anyone can be in the mask. They're taking that also with him, and I love it.
Interesting. Okay. I have
three.
these out of order, so I'm
Oh.
telling you these out of order. Black Widow.
Black Widow. That's hard. I don't really like her. And not because my dad always says because she's a woman. Not because she's a woman. I just think she's a flat character. I think Scarlett Johansson's hot, but I think she is a flat character.
Yeah, there's definitely more they could have.
I'm gonna say 10.
Okay.
Black Widow.
Did I say Captain America?
Yeah.
I did. Iron Man.
Number 3.
Okay.
I love Iron Man. He reminds me of my dad.
Thor.
6. So my number 1.
Spider-Man.
Yes! I was holding out for Spider-Man or Peter Quill. Yes! Oh my gosh. I love Spider-Man. I think when we met, I was in my Spider-Man era.
I love that. Now, I'm going to read you quotes.
Oh,
and you're going to have to tell me which one of these you think they are.
Is it from this list? Or from all of them?
No, they're the same people.
From this list?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can keep track of it. Write another 1 through 11.
Oh, okay.
So then you can just write your guesses.
What if I just draw a line? Does that work?
Sure, that works.
Okay.
Okay.
That was the most crooked line I've ever drawn.
That's okay. Okay, first one. I love the smell of cologne in the morning. That's right, baby. I'm fabulous.
That's giving Deadpool. I'm not even going to take a second guess. The that's right, baby, that's fabulous. That's him looking at the camera.
Okay. This is why I don't trust other supervillains. Too much talking, not enough punching.
Ooh. There's only really 2 villains. Doc Ock, I think.
Okay. I'm not stealing anything. I'm borrowing.
It's giving Loki vibes. I'm just going off of vibes.
Real. My name is da-da-da-da, and I am a burden with glorious purpose. And by glorious purpose, I mean destroying you all.
Me? Ooh. Can I skip them?
No.
Why?
You have to put a guess.
But I don't have a guess.
You gotta put one. Sammy, don't anger.
Meek doesn't talk.
No, Meek talks.
I don't think so.
It's like 3 lines.
I can't switch them either. Once I put it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate this. Can you read it again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Line is, my name is da-da-da-da, and I am burdened with glorious purpose. And by glorious purpose, I mean destroying you all.
See, it's giving Deadpool.
Okay.
This is hard. My first 3 were so easy. And I'm afraid that, like...
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to put one, and then the next one you're going to say, I'm going to be like, no, that's that.
Well, how about this? After you write them all, I'll give you a chance to change 2.
Okay. 2? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to put meat, because I don't know.
Okay. I understood that reference.
The way you said it was so funny. I'm going to say Korg. Because that sounds like a vibe. A Taika Waititi vibe. And I feel like you said it differently because you would have said it in a voice. That's the vibe I'm going for. I don't know. I'm stressing now. I was so confident. Now I'm not.
I've got to get this under control. I'm going to tell them what I've learned about myself. I love that line so much.
Oh my gosh. Thor. I don't know, man. I'm just guessing at this point.
Okay.
Oh, look. Thor landed in the same spot. That's really funny.
Okay. Blank's going to die, but blank's ready to die.
Oh, see, that's probably me. Because none of these characters talk about themselves like that. Well, good to know I know that one's not him. Oh, shoot. I don't know.
If you want to write a name twice, you can. I'll let you do that.
Okay, then Meek. Okay. I'll change this other Meek because I'm more convinced that one's Meek than that one now.
Okay. I'm made of rocks, but don't let that intimidate you.
Oh, shit, that's cool.
Unless you're made of scissors, then you'd better watch.
That's correct. All right, I'll come back to those 2. See, those were the 2 I also took the longest time in, where I was like, I don't know.
Korg and Meek. I've got a plan. It's a plan. A complicated plan.
I feel like that's one of my top 3 over there. I'm going to say Captain America. Watch, you're gonna give me, like, something very obviously Captain America now.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. Oh, don't you even know how sorry I am right now? That was an awful reading of that
I'm
line.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm not sorry. I'm so sorry right now.
Spider-Man? I don't know. It's giving Civil War. SP.
Okay. I'm sorry. Did I just hear supervillain? You sure you're not just a little misunderstood? Like a troubled youth with a pet lizard or something?
That's giving Iron Man.
Okay.
For sure.
So
I didn't use Black Panther or Black Widow.
yeah, so you have time to switch to.
Did you read them in order?
Huh?
Did you read them in order?
Not the order that I read them to, but I have an order that I did read them in, and I know.
Okay. Well, because I was going to say the 4th and 5th one, can I get again? Or?
Yeah. Actually, you can change as many as you want. I make the rules of this game. 4th and 5th one?
Like, can you just read them through again and I'll just see if I want to change them? Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, first one. I love the smell of cologne in the morning. That's right, baby. I'm fabulous.
I feel like that's just Deadpool. I feel like if I change it, I feel like I'm wrong.
Okay.
The first 3, I feel like those are solid.
Okay. This is why I don't trust other supervillains.
Yeah.
Too much talking, not enough punching.
Doc Ock, I feel like.
Okay. I'm not stealing anything. I'm borrowing.
Loki, like, I don't know.
Okay. Next one. My name is blank, and I am burdened with glorious purpose. And by glorious purpose, I mean destroying you all.
I'm gonna change from Meek to Black Panther.
Okay.
Because I can hear, like, I was trying to think of voices, and I feel like I can hear the Wakandan accent over that line in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
I don't think it's right, but I can hear it.
I understood that reference.
I don't know. What's the next one?
I've got this under control. I'm going to tell them what I've learned about myself.
Okay, I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna say the first one you read before that was Thor. And I think the next one was Black Widow.
Okay.
I didn't like the way you went. Okay. I mean, Meek and Korg, I feel like that's good. I'm not gonna change any other ones.
Okay, then I'll skip those two. I've got a plan, it's a plan, a complicated plan.
I feel like I'm just gonna leave them the way they are.
Okay, you're done?
I feel like I'm so wrong, but...
Okay, the first one, Deadpool.
Yes! I feel like I'm checking up a test.
Next one, Doc Ock.
Yes!
Third, Black Panther. Fourth, Loki.
Oh, so I just switched them.
Yep.
Oh, sick! Can I get like a half point?
Sure.
Sick.
Next one, Captain America.
Really?
Yeah. It's from the first Avengers movie where, like, he was trying to, he didn't get a reference at the beginning of the movie, like some pop culture reference, and then at the end of the movie, he's like, I understood that reference.
I haven't seen that in so long, and I think the only quote I think of from that movie is when Iron Man goes, that man's playing Galaga. He thought we wouldn't notice, but we did. That's what I think of every single time.
So good.
Okay.
The next one after Captain America is Thor.
Oh, so I was right the first time.
Yeah, you were. That's why I went, because I didn't want you to change it. Then we have Meek. Meek's going to die, but Meek's ready to die.
I don't think I remember that at all.
That's from...
just figured.
Hey! That's from Thor Ragnarok.
I saw it.
Sammy, come here. No. Wait. Okay. Next one is Korg.
Figured.
Sit.
Only one made of rocks. I know that's wrong.
After Korg, it's Black Widow. And then we have Iron Man.
So I switched the bottom two?
And Spider-Man. Yep.
Crap!
How many did you get?
I'm taking a half point for that one too, because I switched them. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Including my 2 half points.
Sammy's not satisfied. Oh. Well, I think you did better than what I would have done.
I knew them. I just got them in the wrong order, because I got them pretty close to each other. I just need to flip them. So.
Yeah.
Well.
Did you have fun?
No, a little stressed out, but, it's fine.
You did great.
Thanks.
Oh, obsessions.
Do you want to go first or me?
You can go first. Come here.
So I have 2
Sammy.
obsessions again.
Okay, 2 obsessions.
One of which is Mark Wahlberg. I've been watching a lot of Mark Wahlberg movies. Do you not like Mark Wahlberg? What the heck, man?
He doesn't like this damn puppy.
But yeah, Mark Wahlberg. Been watching a lot of Mark Wahlberg movies recently.
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah.
Interesting obsession, okay.
I don't think it was a meant obsession. I've just been watching a lot of movies he's been in.
Real.
Like, I just watched both the Daddy's Homes. Great movies, by the way.
Those are good movies.
And then I found myself watching Departed, which he's also in. And then I found myself watching both the Ted movies. And I was like, I'm just watching Mark Wahlberg.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't know why. I still don't know why. But I'm counting that as an obsession because over the past couple of, like, weeks, I've just been watching a lot of Mark Wahlberg.
Valid, though.
I also just love Mark Wahlberg in general. I think he is one of the few celebrities who really sticks to his guns. Then my other one is Lana Del Rey. I've been listening to a lot of Lana Del Rey recently.
Fair.
So, those are my obsessions.
What am I obsessed with? I'm obsessed with taking naps.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm so tired. Yeah. I'm obsessed with taking naps lately. Mm-hmm. Rest and recovery.
For sure.
I don't know. I haven't really been obsessed with anything lately. Tripod per usuge.
You said tripod, and I thought you meant like the camera.
Oh, a camera tripod? No. Like the Try Guys podcast.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
A little weird.
Right, and then advice for being proud in the fandom you're in. So, like, you know, people dog on fandoms. How do you be proud of that?
I mean, honestly, it's like, why bully someone over something they like, you know? It just means, like, that whoever is bullying you is just super insecure.
Yeah.
Or, like, for some reason has beef they need to deal with on their own terms. And so I think, like, coming from a place of, like, oh, you're just insecure, like, I have my likes and you don't have yours, you're just jealous or something. Coming with that mentality, I think, is really helpful.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think mine is just, like, find people who like the same things as you, and then it's less cringy. Like, don't be afraid to engage in online communities. That's how I met some of my, like, closest friends. Mm-hmm. Like, D&D, not very widely accepted. Oops. But, like, one of my closest friends and I play D&D all the time. Again, shout out Tommy. I think I've shouted him out both times now. He lives in England. He's not going to listen to this, but he lives in England.
Love that.
But yeah, so it's, like, find those people and find your little group and don't let them go. And, like, I have friends who we've been through some fandoms together. The 2020 Minecraft fandom, that was a time. But we bonded and now we're great. So,
heck yeah. Yeah, I definitely think finding groups is super important. Like, I keep mentioning my friend Ashika. I don't think if I didn't have her to talk about the, like, MCU with, I don't think I would have been as into it as I was.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, finding your niche, finding people who support you, and that goes not only for, like, fandoms, but anything in life, too.
Yeah.
Except doing cocaine.
You could find your niche in doing cocaine. Maybe don't do it, but you could find a niche if you choose to do cocaine.
Yeah.
We're supportive of all here.
And what a cute thing to send me to. Sammy has been so riled up. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. Like, maybe it's just because I am sedentary all of a sudden. But he is just so bound with energy. Oh, so he's been a menace. But one cute thing that we do. I hate us. But I'm on a very strict schedule with my antibiotics because everyone was like, I'm in a Facebook forum. And so they're like, one thing you can do is time yourself on medication. Mm-hmm. Like, be on top of them. And so I take my medications every 6 hours, or my antibiotics every 6 hours. So at 6 p.m., a.m., noon, and midnight is when I take them. And so at my 6 a.m., it's a little too early for me to want to get out of bed. And so what I'll do is, like, I'll take them and then I'll let Sammy out of his kennel and we'll just cuddle and I'll sleep in for another 4 hours. So that's been really cute. And he sometimes sleeps with me, but sometimes he just, like, wanders and does his own thing. But that's the cute thing he's been doing lately. But yeah, any last thoughts? Okay. Then with that, we'll see y'all next week. Enjoy the Lord of the Rings podcast we have coming out. Super exciting. Yeah. We filmed it before this one, and it was a lot of fun. But
a lot of nerdy talk.
A lot of nerdy talk in these next 2 weeks, but that is A-okay. Anyways, pasta la vista, y'all.